Welcome back to The Explainer. So today we are tackling what's arguably the foundational pillar of the entire crypto ecosystem. Look, you already know the market is incredibly volatile, and I guarantee you've seen the letters USDT flashing on the charts. But today we're cutting through the noise and demystifying exactly how Tether actually works, relying strictly on the source material we've gathered. I want you to picture this for a second. A cryptocurrency that doesn't swing wildly in price. Crazy, right? As crypto followers, we are all too familiar with that heart-stopping roller coaster of traditional tokens. It's the nature of the beast. But what if there was an asset specifically engineered to bypass all of that chaos? You know, a digital asset that gives us all the technological benefits of the blockchain, but completely skips the wild ride. Well, that brings us right to this incredibly important, very specific number, $1. Guys, this is the entire point of USDT, also known as Tether. It's explicitly designed to stay as close to exactly $1 as humanly possible. Think of it like a digital anchor. And that anchor is exactly why this token routinely sees more daily trading volume than Bitcoin itself. It's literally the lifeblood of crypto trading. But how does it actually pull this off? And why is it so heavily utilized? Okay, let's dive into this. To truly understand USDT, we're going to follow a pretty structured path today. We'll hit the crypto volatility problem, define what a stablecoin actually is, look at some real-world use cases, weigh the advantages and risks, and then finish up by comparing it to some of the other top cryptocurrencies out there. All right, part one, the crypto volatility problem. To really appreciate the design of Tether, we first have to look at the exact problem it's trying to solve. Notice the stark contrast we've got here. On one side, we have traditional heavyweights like Bitcoin and Ethereum. These are absolutely famous for their high volatility. Now, that's great for potential profit, obviously, but it is terrible for pricing everyday items or, protecting your funds during a sudden market crash. On the flip side of that equation, USDT acts as a digital representation of the US dollar. It's basically a safe harbor. It exists so traders don't have to deal with the headache of cashing all the way out to fiat currency every single time the market gets choppy. Which brings us to section 2. What is a stablecoin? Because USDT belongs to a very specific, unique category of digital assets. Now, a stablecoin is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's a cryptocurrency designed to maintain a relatively stable value by being linked to another asset. You see, while most other cryptos rely purely on market sentiment and speculative demand, which we all know can change in a heartbeat, a stablecoin ties its entire identity to an established asset. And in USDT's case, as we've established, that asset is the US dollar. So the million-dollar question, or I guess the $1 question here, is how exactly does it do that? Well, first off, it's issued by a central company called Tether. Second, that company states that it maintains real-world reserves intended to back every single token out there. Now, it is important to note that the price isn't just magically frozen in place. It absolutely can fluctuate slightly based on normal market supply and demand. But those reserves are the mechanism meant to keep it glued to that $1 peg. Also, I want to clear up a really common misconception. A lot of people think USDT runs on its own dedicated blockchain. It actually doesn't. It operates across multiple different networks. We're talking Ethereum, Tron, BNB Chain, Solana, Polygon, Avalanche, and a few more. It's a pretty brilliant design, honestly, because it lets you, the user, prioritize what matters most to you for a specific transaction, whether that's lightning-fast speeds or rock-bottom fees. Just a quick pro tip, though. Always remember to use the correct matching network when you're moving it around, or you could end up losing your funds. All right, moving right along to Section 3, Real-World Use Cases. So we know the mechanics now, but why do millions of people actually rely on this stuff every single day? According to our source material, there are 5 highly practical problems USDT solves out there in the real world. Number 1 is crypto trading. It lets you park your wealth safely during those nasty market dips without actually having to leave the crypto ecosystem. Number 2, sending money internationally. It allows for crazy fast transfers across borders. Number 3 is payments. It gives merchants the peace of mind that a transaction won't suddenly lose 10% of its value overnight. Number 4 is savings, specifically within the crypto space, though a quick reality check here, remember this isn't FDIC insured like a traditional bank account. And finally, number 5, decentralized finance, or DeFi. USDT provides massive liquidity for decentralized lending and borrowing platforms. That brings us to Section 4, advantages and risks, because as always, we have to look objectively at both sides of the coin here. Look, the advantages are undeniably immense. We're talking price stability in a totally chaotic market, multi-chain flexibility, and just massive, massive global liquidity. But the risks are equally important for us to understand. Unlike decentralized protocols like Bitcoin, USDT is issued by a private, centralized company. Its stability relies heavily on market confidence and the transparency of that issuer's reserves. Add in the constant threat of looming government regulations and your standard, everyday crypto phishing scams, and it becomes crystal clear that users absolutely must remain vigilant. Let's transition over to our final section, comparing top cryptocurrencies. We want to see exactly how USD stacks up against the other heavyweights in the room. This really illustrates exactly where USDT fits into the broader picture. Think about Bitcoin. Its main purpose is to be digital money and a long-term store of value. It's completely decentralized, sure, but as we know, highly volatile. Now contrast that with USDT. It's designed purely for trading and stability, with practically zero volatility, but it is totally centralized under the Tether company. And then, for context, you have something like USDC, which is also a stablecoin aiming for that $1 mark, but operating under an entirely different corporate issuer and governance model. So they all live together in the crypto ecosystem, but they have completely different jobs to do. And all of this leads us right to a question that honestly trips a lot of people up when they first start analyzing stablecoins. And that question is USDT an investment? Fundamentally, no. No, it's not. People do not buy USDT expecting its price to increase. I mean, think about it. Buying $1 today, hoping it magically becomes worth $10 next year, completely defeats its entire architectural purpose. It is purely a utility tool. It's built for trading, for making payments, and for securely holding value within the ecosystem without cashing out. Our source material actually sums this up perfectly. It says, USDT solves a simple problem, providing a relatively stable digital asset in a market known for volatility. By serving as that reliable digital anchor, it has absolutely cemented itself as a major, irreplaceable pillar of the blockchain world. So I want to leave you with this final thought today. If the simple, basic concept of price stability could unlock this much incredible global utility, what other traditional financial tools might blockchain technology completely reinvent next? It's definitely something to chew on. Thanks for hanging out with me on The Explainer today, and I'll catch you next time.